Hello, this is Grandma Jan from Red Toad Art Studios, and today we are going to continue our journey in learning how to collage. One of the first things you need to decide after you've looked through your art supplies and seen if you've ever collaged before is to decide what you're going to do with it once you have a finished art project, because picking your base or what you're going to paste on is very important for different uses. If you're going to hang it on a wall, you will do things different. If you're going to give it as a gift, you will do other things different. And if you plan on selling it, you really need to know that in the beginning of your work. But most of us, like what I'm going to do, we do our collages and we keep them in a drawer or, better yet, a book. So let me show you some choices you can have for your base. Now, many people do their collages on canvas. You can do it on stretched canvas or these canvas boards. Here is one that I showed you in our first video on our journey, and this is done on a canvas board. It's stiff and it's easy to hang up on a wall as is, and so are these stretch canvases. Now, you will do some things differently if you use these. Usually we paint a lot on these and do other painterly techniques, and then we add and paste papers and designs on it. Another thing you can use, if you're not planning on hanging it, now you may frame it, and this will work just great, is to paste on something like poster board or mixed media paper, something that has a little strength to it to support your picture. Now this one that I did in the very beginning is done on poster board, and then it was stored in a notebook, a 3-ring binder. You can get these page protectors and you could store all of your artwork in a 3-ring binder, and then it's very easy for you to find. It protects it, not like throwing it in a drawer, which many of us do throw it in a drawer, and they're not very well protected there. They may get damaged, and you never know when you want to go back and use these for a reason. Now, I would suggest that as a beginner, you may want to keep your collages in a book and actually do them on book pages. This is your least economical way. Let me give you some examples. Have you got an old address book or telephone book hanging around? I don't think many of us use these anymore. Telephone numbers are kind of outdated, and if we need to know numbers, they're in our computer. But look, this would make a wonderful little collage book. The pages would be easy to remove some of them so it wouldn't get too bulky. Has a nice cover on it. We can cover that up with something. A great collage book. You may have one of these laying around. These were very popular for a while, and I know you can still get them at like Walmart and drugstores. Little journal books. These would be beautiful to collage in and save your collages. But remember, if you do them in a book, you can't pull them out to use later. You probably won't pull them out and hang them on the wall. Or give it as a gift. They're in the book. You're making a beautiful little book. Then you could consider just going out and buying you a new sketchbook. And there's plenty of pages, nice, clean pages to collage on. Or you could go fancier yet. There's all kinds of sketchbooks out there. Look at how pretty this sketchbook is, and how pretty this would be for collages. This is just the base for a collage. And it handles paint real well. And look how many you could do in this beautiful book. So most likely you have something hanging around your house that will be a great base for your collage work. Now, I'll show you some other great bases. Mostly, these are all in a book of a sort. I'll show you what I'm choosing to work in. I have this beautiful art book that I could use for collages. In fact, I had done one in here when I was calling it decoupage. And it would make a great collage book. These are beautiful. These are done by Paper Blanks. You can look them up on the internet, and they're beautiful books. By the same company, I was given a calendar. Isn't this a beautiful calendar? But once the calendar's used and the year's over, it's kind of a waste of this beautiful book. But you know what you can do if you have a calendar book? Use it as a collage book. I just started these since I started my journey, and I decided to put many of my collages in this book. I've only got 2 in here so far, but I'll start at the beginning of the year. The year's not over yet, so I'm using part of the book and just move through and add my collages. This is something you could do. And then when the year's over, you have a beautiful book full of beautiful collages. Now, many people take an old book and revamp it. Now, this is an old book I had. I covered it in a newspaper type picture. And this, I think, is part of the original covering. I added a little embellishments. I Mod Podged it so it will be nice and strong. This is cut out of a children's book. And then, in fact, I had a couple in here. Again, I wouldn't have called these collage. I was just making an art journal. But, hey, I think this would be considered collage. I love this one about a little mouse. I think mice are rather nice. In fact, I caught a mouse in a live trap today and took him outdoors, and he was the cutest little guy. Their ears are pink, their teeth are white. They run about the house at night, and unfortunately that's true. They nibble things they shouldn't touch, and no one seems to like them much, but I think mice are nice, and that's something I did, several months ago when we were having mouse problems. We live in the country, so mouse problems happen quite often. But a book, any size you want, makes a great collage book, even though there's writing in it. Let's see. Now you notice these books were large, and you'd have to do large collages to fit in it. And this is perfect if I want to do something big. This is about half the size. And if I don't want to do anything real big, but still is big enough to put several things on the page, this is perfect. But we have 2 more sizes. Let me see. You could go with something like this. This is a small watercolor art book. And it's strong, the pages are nice and heavy, and it makes a perfect collage book. And you can find these in your bookstores and online. And if you want to do something smaller yet, look at this. This was a little tiny calendar. I took out the pages and put some of my own in here and hadn't decided what I was going to use it for, but found out it was perfect for small collages. I'm happiest when I'm with you. This is my first one in here. So I think Grandma has chosen what she's going to do. I never really intend to sell any of my work. If you sell your work, you have to be very careful of copyright law. Even cutting out a page in the newspaper, in a magazine, if you use napkin pictures or pictures from calendars, they may be copyrighted by the person who took them or the company that printed them, and you need to get permission to use those pictures. So if you're going to use those type of materials, get permission or don't use them. I mean, the copyright, you don't want to get in trouble with that. But that doesn't stop you from collaging. You can use materials that are free to use in your collage, and you can make a lot of your own materials. But this was cut out of several scrapbooking pages. Even these little fish were on one of the pages. And in later videos, I'm going to show you how to make background pages for your collages that are free for you to use anywhere, anytime, for any purpose, including selling them. So, there's several options for what you can use as a base, and you have to choose your base before you ever start. Now, you can just do them on a piece of paper and stick it in the drawer if you want, but it's really nice to keep a record of what you've done and how you've come along and learned, and just to look back through it and keep the book full of it. Or, hey, keep your drawer full of it. But you need to make the choice now. What kind of base am I going to use for my beautiful collages? So, I think one of the next things we'll talk about is the paper and making your middle ground, or your middle layers, what you want them to be. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll be seeing you soon, and bye-bye for now.